Hello, channel. It's Victory Brown. Welcome to today's episode. Hi, I'm really excited to have you back here, and I want to say a very big thank you to everyone who engaged in my first post. The love was amazing. Oh my god, I sound so cliche. But yeah, the love was amazing. Thank you all for your engagement and your comments. They motivate me to do the next video and the next video and the next video and the next video after. So this means you cannot stop engaging with this post. You cannot stop engaging with this account. You have to like, share, and subscribe at all times. But yeah, I'm really excited about what I want to talk about today. I mean, for the past few years of my life, I'm beginning to get clarity on what I want from life, what I want to do as a person. And I feel like I have, to an extent, made certain changes, certain decisions that have caused me to move, right? And I would like to share these things with you, hoping that it does change something in your heart or in your journey, right? So yeah, let's get started with it. Okay, so time to be serious. I want to know if you have identified what your purpose is. Now, there has been a lot of conversations around what purpose is, what passion is, what interest is, and that's what I want to talk about today, because I have defined myself as a multidisciplinary designer, right? But that doesn't mean that I'm only multidisciplinary in design. I am multidisciplinary by design. Word. So this means that I have come to the notion that I was made for more. I can do all things. I can do multiple things. Now, you can do, I think people keep saying, oh, jack of all trade, master of none. But the word says oftentimes better than a master of one. Doing a lot of things or having a lot of things to do is not in itself a bad thing. What becomes a bad or terrible thing is when you keep having multiple ideas and you do nothing, and then you complain about being stuck or you complain about moving forward. That's when it becomes a challenge. So what I'm going to do for you today is I'm going to talk to you about things that I have done that has made my journey of change and transition easier. Because trust me, if you're my friend, you will be exhausted at the amount of time that I come up with new ideas. I always want to try something new. I always tell my friends, oh my God, I have a business idea. Oh my God, I have a business idea. I have a business idea almost every other market day, right? And thankfully, I have people around me that do not let my ideas die. If anything, when I bring up a new one, they say, how about the other one? What have you done to, kickstart that before you start having a new idea? Or even though you did not kickstart that, what was the hindrance to that made you not start this, right? Now, I've been working in tech for such a long time that I've forgotten that there were so many things that I wanted to do before tech. Before tech, I used to be into aromatics. Like, I loved perfumes, I loved scents. I used to sell that in school, but it wasn't making me as much money. Or I would say, honestly, I did not have the financial knowledge that I have right now to have been able to move that business from what it was in school to what it should have been. Now, that was a mistake on my part, and I have learned from that, and that is why I want to share these things with you, because I am learning, and I'm hoping that someone is going to find this video helpful and is going to learn from it. Now, I'm at the point in my life where I do not want to describe myself with negative words, but I have been a procrastinator in the past. I have lacked discipline in the past. I have been careless in the past. But all of these things are changing because I'm beginning to understand certain things that I want to do in my life. This being said, there are three words that come to mind, and I said that earlier. One is passion, one is purpose, and one is interest. These three things can add to your identity, can make you who you are, can show you what you should be. Now, a lot of times people ask themselves, like, what is my purpose? Why was I put on this earth, this exhausting place? Why was I put in here? And they are sometimes met with silence. They are sometimes, depends on the effort they put into, discovering themselves, they are met with answers. What is your purpose? What is your passion? And what is your interest? I told I was having a conversation about this with my sister, and I said, one is exhaustive. One has an exhaustive output. One would wear you down. One has a rewarding output, and one has an exciting output. Regardless, all three of them could have each of these things. Like, one could be exhaustive and rewarding, it can be exhausting and exciting. But I like to use those words to define them, because I need you to understand that as a person, there are certain things that you will come across that might want to sway you from what you're supposed to do. But when you think about the end, you would be excited. When you think about the end and the reward, it doesn't matter the exhaustion that you felt when you were doing that, right? The goal at the end of the tunnel, per se, is what matters. Now, passion. Have you ever met a passionate person? I know we have one person in our circle who is passionate about something. Some people are passionate about Burna Boy, Davido, and Wizkid, and that's their jig. That's all right. Like, they would tell you statistics of when Burna Boy started in comparison to when Wizkid started. They would tell you how many is it Ballon d'Or is for football. They'll tell you how many Grammys, how many VMAs, how many BETs these people have won. They are passionate about defending these people because that's something that they like, right? And this passion also, I don't want to use just that. Like, have you met feminists, right? We are passionate about what we talk about. We are passionate about women's rights, equality, and equity for women. And if you see a true feminist, they talk with so much passion. They talk with facts. They bring out their receipts. They are ready to defend the womanhood to the core. And that's what passion is. Passion drives you. Passion can also be exhausting because sometimes you're fighting for things that you don't even see the reward, right? You are just fighting because you know somewhere in your heart that this is the right thing to do. That's where purpose comes. Purpose is what pushes you to your passion. What were you put on this earth for? Were you put on this earth to defend Davido? Were you put on this earth to stand for music? Were you put on this earth to stand for truth and justice? What's that thing that you know that, oh my goodness, I feel it in my heart of hearts that this is what I was put on this earth to do? For one, I have struggled with coming to terms with this. Like, my sister tells me, oh, I love how you talk and I love your train of thought, and I don't think I have so much to give. Like, I want to talk this way, but I don't feel confident enough to talk about what I want to talk about, if that makes sense, right? But over time, I've been grooming myself to get out of that box that I put myself in. Like, oh, you can't have everything, you can't do everything. Right now, I know that I can. I love to do my makeup. I love to cook for my friends. I'm good at sports. I'm good at drawing. I'm good at a lot of things, right? But over time, I have focused so much on hiding behind my laptop screen that I have failed to cultivate these other goals. Now, you might be in that position, maybe because of your environment. Yes. Now, there are things that keep you stuck, and I'm going to talk about them now. There are things that keep you stuck. There are things that kind of like stop you from progressing. One is your environment, where you currently are. What are you struggling? Is it your location, or is it the place that you have put yourself? Sometimes it might not even be like your house address. Like, it might not be that you stay in Lagos or you stay in Abuja. It might be that you are surrounded, your location, where you are surrounded by people that probably don't think better than you. You all think the same way, and that can be limiting. You have to change your location. And change your location means change your mindset. Where is your mindset located? What are you thinking about? Change that idea, right? Change that idea. And the next thing is, after you change your environment, what are the resources that you have? You're thinking about things that can keep you unstuck, right? One is your environment. The next thing is your resources. What do you have access to? What can you make use of right now that you know that you have access to that can change your life? Next thing I want to talk about is, we've talked about passion, So we've talked about passion, we've talked about purpose, and then we're going to talk about interests. Now, interest is sometimes the exciting one, the one with the exciting output, where like you just want to play tennis for the weekend. You just want to get your adrenaline on. You want to go to a show. You want to go do some art stuff. You're just interested in that. You're not passionate about being an artist. Maybe you're doing it for content. Maybe you're doing it because you want to wind down on a weekend, and that's okay. But I know that you are only part of the things that interest you are part of the things that are supposed to make you up. So be conscious of your interests. What are you interested in, and why are you interested in these things, right? Over time, you would find out that there is an intersection of your purpose, your passion, and your interests. Your interests, right, leads to all of these things. You start to think about why you are interested in this. Well, why do I like this? Why do I like to paint? What's this feeling that I get from it? Do you need to communicate your feelings through artistry, and how can you do that? So that's things that I feel like we should pay attention to, and I'm going to tell you how to do that now. So I want you to get like a notebook, right? We're going to be practical in this thing because we have to be. We really have to be. Now, you know, people saying, "Oh, you can't do everything. You can't be everywhere all at once," right? I think you can do everything, but like they said, you can't do it all at once. You need to have a strategy for life. You need to have a plan. It's not enough to have goals. You need plan on how to achieve each goal. Otherwise you're going to be swayed away, right? And now I'm going to hold your hands. I'm going to look into your eyes, and I'm going to tell you that, right, you can move from where you currently are. You can change your life this instant with one decision, right? Like we're just saying, I want to strategically plan my year. That's the first step to changing your life. And this is not an aspire to Maguire thing. Like I said, I'm going to talk to you about things that I have done to help me move, and see if you can implement those things and move your way right. So let's get into it. Let's get into it, as we say here. Let's get into it. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to get a notebook. I want you to get a jotter. I want you to get a board. I want you to get something you can write with, right? That's the first step. Now, I want you to list out all the things that you say you want to do. This is not I'm setting my first quarter, second quarter goals. No, I want you to write down a list of things that you want to do. Anything that comes to your head, write it down. It can get up to 50. I don't care about that. The number is not our problem right now. We're trying to hit something, right? I want you to write down a list of things that you want to do. In that list, I want you to identify what feels like an interest. I'm not really sure about this, but let me see how it goes. Maybe you want to start planning surprise party for people, right? You've not really thought about how much it will cost. You don't really know so much about it, but you've seen it and you're like, I think I'm interested in this thing. Write it down. Okay. Now you've written all of your things down. I want you to identify what is an interest. I want you to identify your interests. I want you to identify the things in that list that you can do and you can be paid for. That's like what you can exchange. What value can you exchange for money? Because at the end of the day, we're trying to make money. At the end of the day, we're trying to make money. So what is the thing that you want to do that you know that if you do this thing, people can pay you money for it? Write it down. Now you have written your interest, you've written something that you can be paid for, something you can offer value, and in exchange you get money. Sometimes the exchange for value is not money. Sometimes the exchange for value is more work. But in the end, where is it leading you to? I need us to, like, wear your thinking hats, be focused and intentional about yourself this year, because that's what I'm doing. You should do it along with me. But yes, so what are your interests? What are you interested in? What can you get money for? The next thing is, what resources do you have now for each of these things that you've listed? What are the resources that are free? What are the ones that are paid for that you can access right now? Now, for some people, you will not be able to pay for some of the resources you need to kickstart whatever it is you've written. But some of you, you can't pay for it. Some of you, the resources that are available that are free are not enough. But that's a place to start. You should start with that. Now, whichever it is, whether it's a paid resource or it's an unpaid resource, the point is you have access to resource and you know where to get it. Now, I need you to get that written down. Write down the resources that you need. Is it money? Write down money. Do you need a mentor? Write down a mentor. And what kind of mentor do you need, right? Do you need a finance mentor? Do you need a sports coach? What kind do you need? You write it down. Now, the third thing is, after you've written down the resources that you need, the paid and the unpaid, you're going to do something for me. So we have something called high inputs, low outputs. It means that this is going to take a lot from you, but in the end, the output is just so little. It doesn't cover as much effort as you put in. So you're going to write that down. Think about it. Oh God, if I spend 500,000 naira to start this business is not going to give me 500,000 at the end of the month. It's going to give me like 10K. That's not a good thing to invest in. I'm just saying that's like an outrageous example, but I'm just saying, right? I know you know what I'm talking about. You think about that, and then you write down, you highlight which of those resources are high inputs, low outputs, and which is high outputs, high inputs, right? And also medium. So we are measuring with medium, low, and high. Please tell me that you are following. I'm going to slow down and allow you to take it back and listen and come back and tell me, did you get it? Okay, I know you did. You smart people. Yes, so I needed to use low, high, and medium effort and output to highlight these things, which is low effort and high output, which is medium effort, medium output, highlight them. And then you start to think about which one is easy for you to start now. For most people, the high outputs, high inputs, or high inputs, high outputs is their thing. They can do it. They have the money to get their life started. They just need direction on what to start with. For most people, they don't have the money. They have the effort. They might not have the time to start something that would take a lot of time to get. So they need to focus the medium input that they have in the medium effort to bring medium results. And that's okay. Please, one thing you should not do is compare your journey or your input and your output with other people. Your path is different and you should stick to that. Now that you have done that, I need you to start thinking about what to start with. How is this connected to this and how is this connected to this? Now I'm going to end this with sharing like a bit of my journey and what I like using this same thing. When I say tech, I thought about, in fact, when I was in school, I was selling perfumes, and I told you how I did not have the financial knowledge that I have now. Otherwise, that business would have moved to something else. But I know that the interest in perfumes and perfumery and aromatics still exists. I love scents. I love the way things smell, and I want to be in that space, right? So I keep thinking about it. I think about it all the time. Sorry, I'm not sure which place to look at it yet, but I'm learning. So yes, I thought about it. But when I heard about tech, I knew that tech for me then, it will require a lot from me, but I would label it as medium input. Medium input, even though my laptop was dying, but it was medium input for me because I had access to resources. There were free resources everywhere. What I needed was access to light and data. And that's something that if I asked for money for fuel or money for data, I could be given. I could have access to that, right? So it was medium effort for me. All I needed to put in high effort was my time and myself and my strength, my blood and my sweat. So that's what required high output for me, or high input rather. Like I had to work on my career, focus and do all of those things. And in focusing on that, I kind of lost track of all of the things that I was interested in, like playing tennis, doing a business, right? All of those things. But I knew that the output from tech, in the long run, the output from tech would be profitable in such a way that I would invest the output in these other parts of my life. So like I said, when I started this thing, I'm a jack of all trades. I like to do stuff. I always want to do something. I always have new ideas. So now I'm making a bit of money from tech. I can invest my tech money in my perfume business and like upskill to like more luxurious scents, because now I have a network of people who are interested in luxury, right? So do you see how this goes? Like, I did this and I'm using this to do this. Now, part of it is also with my social media creation, right? I've made a name for myself, or like I'm visible enough in the community to have kickstarted a career in YouTube or content creation. Now, because I have people who I have interacted with during my tech journey, and I have friends from school, I have all of these networks, I can now channel them. So the effort I put into keeping our friendship, right, is going to bring out an output of trust, in the sense that my people and my friends now feel like, okay, I trust what Victory can say. I want to listen to her talk. And then they come to my YouTube. And on my YouTube, I can always advertise my business. I am somebody who is always looking for something to intersect at some point. So that's how I think about my life, and that's how I think about moving. That's how I think about managing being multidisciplinary. So even though you have a lot of things to do, instead of feeling overwhelmed, instead of feeling tired and complaining about not having the resources to start, think of the idea that has the lowest resource but highest output, or medium resource or medium output, something that you think you can start, and start with that. That's the summary of this video, right? Think of something you know you can start, you have resources to start, and start. And then we can think about moving on our journey from there onwards, right? The goal of this video was to give you clarity on how to make decisions to, move you from being stuck to like getting ready to go, or even going, right? So yeah, I'm really happy about this conversation that we just had, and I know that you have something to tell me back. So I'm curious to hear how you think about passion, purpose, and interest. I want to know how you are moving so that we can like help each other grow. I want to know how you're moving, how you're handling doing so many things, and just let me know how that goes. And don't forget the important thing, please like, share, comment, and click the subscribe button so that we can always be here and catching up on our channel, and just like having conversations about life, goals, career, relationship, tech, and any other thing. So yeah, it was really exciting to talk to you today. See you, catch you next time on our channel. Bye.